Did you know that your dishwasher actually has a filter in it?
Yes.
Okay. Most people don't know that.
You take it out, you rinse it, you do the whole thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So your dishwasher does have a filter.
Yeah.
So if you have a dishwasher, check it. There's a little device that goes with your dishwasher. You should have it. If you don't have one installed, it's called an air gap.
Yes.
And that is that silver thing that in most cases it's silver. Sometimes it's just white. And it's like got a little cap that you can turn. It's got these holes on it. And you always want to turn it away from the sink because you don't like the holes.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why that's a problem. Because that there is to drain water into the sink as opposed to around your house.
Yeah.
If the hose gets clogged.
Yeah. Or back into your dishwasher with all of your clean dishes.
Right. Mm-hmm. So the purpose for an air gap is twofold. Like Lauren just said, it's if it prevents, if your disposal gets backed up, it doesn't push that dirty water right into your dishwasher. It's going to push it up to the air gap, and that's going to come right through. So whatever side of that hose gets clogged up, it's going to force water out of that air gap. So make sure that air gap is facing the sink at all times, because if you leave the house on vacation, I'm sorry, not vacation, for the day.
Yeah.
If you leave your house for the day, you set the dishwasher before. We all set the dishwasher before we go. We're not home. You shouldn't have to babysit it, just like you shouldn't have to babysit your oven. So you turn it on, you come home, you get a flood because you had that thing and it flooded your countertop and it all went everywhere. And now you have a mold problem.
Yeah.
Most likely.
And if water is coming out of the air gap, that your
means
cue to clean out your filters.
That means you want to go.
It's blocked.
Disconnect the hoses. You can just clean them out with a brush for hoses, or hose them out, or just replace them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's something that a lot of people don't understand. I've seen those on islands.
Oh.
Air gaps on an island sink, and I turned it on, and I don't typically leave the kitchen.
Yeah.
When I run the dishwasher, I'm pretty much in the vicinity. Right. Mm-hmm. So if I hear something, I can run back in. And one time I did that, and I stayed in the kitchen while first thing I did was turned on the dishwasher, and that thing was kinked, and it started flooding that countertop on that island.
No.
That water had nowhere to go but everywhere.
Oh no.
It went everywhere. But I stopped it quick because I was right there, and I grabbed towels and I was able to contain it. But if I'd have left, like went upstairs or went outside, oh my God, that would have been a nightmare. So you gotta be careful with those. Yeah, they'll get you. And what else? Interior. There's something most people don't know about GFCI receptacles.
Yes, they're guaranteed to pop up on every inspection report.
Yeah, the manufacturers of those actually have it in their paperwork when you buy them, that they recommend that you push that button at least once a month. Really? Yep. So
I clearly did not read the fine print.
You get the test and then the reset on those. Yeah. Over time, just dust gets in there, and it just messes up those little moving parts, and they stop working. So they want you to test it. Just keep that thing moving once in a while. Not have to do it every month, but
just like your windows.
Yeah, just test it. Push that button once in a while. Make sure it's working. If that thing's not resetting, it's bad. You want to get rid of it. It's not going to protect you if it's bad. Right. If it can't reset, it's bad. So you want to take care of that with GFCI receptacles. But that's some research I did a while back, and I was like, wow, no kidding.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I encourage my home buyers, like, hey, get an electrician. It's an easy fix. Right. To do that, right? Because we commonly they won't have them in the kitchen or the bathrooms or the garage. Is probably where I most commonly see them not installed. And if there's anywhere where there's moisture, you really want those. It's to protect you. Yep. Don't skip out on that. It's worth the upgrade. It's to protect you and your house and your appliances and all of that.
Cool. Okay, so one last thing.
Yeah.
I like to ask my guests, do you have any great horror stories?
Horror stories?
Regarding your real estate business?
Oh, man. Well, it's not really a horror story. It's more of a funny story.
Okay.
So we
like comedy too.
Yeah, I'm more of a lighthearted comedy. It's no emergencies in real estate, but there's a lot of shenanigans. We were inspecting this condo, and it was, it needed a lot of work, right? My client was going in there knowing it was a fixer, and we were just kind of checking everything out, and the inspector was doing their thing, and we had some time to kill, and she was really interested. Be like, I wonder if the ice maker works on the fridge. Okay, the inspector is not going to check that, so let's just grab a cup real quick And, we'll test it out to see if, the water line's working and all of that. And what do you think came out of the ice machine?
Water?
No, it was a cigar, a full ass cigar came out of the ice maker. And we were like, wait, what?
A cigar came
out of the ice maker.
I'm trying to picture that right now.
There was no ice. Yeah, I have I'll have to show it to you after this. I have a photo of it, of this whole cigar.
Was somebody trying to prank you guys?
I have no idea, but that's, I guess, maybe I am not a smoker, so someone correct me if that is I thought you needed, a humid environment for cigars, but they put it in the freezer.
Humidors.
Yeah. So that was interesting. I think like the other crazy one was the squishy ceiling, which we caught on like the second inspection.
Oh, wow.
Because we went back because of the rain. That's what would happen, because we did the inspection and then there was a big rain and my client was just like, I feel it in my gut. I want to go back.
Wow.
Yeah. And we went and we're like,
got a weather vane in his gut.
Yeah. 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 Or I was actually the listing agent on this one property. This was like a couple years ago. And the inspection came in. The property was being used as a rental. So the tenants had moved out and a new home buyer was coming in and checking it out. And so it was vacant. And I came back to check on the property in the middle of the night for, I can't remember, I had to do something. I had to take something or drop it off or whatever. I was keeping an eye on the property. And the sink on its own had backed up. I mean, there was black water.
Oh yeah.
Everywhere. It was disgusting. And
it is disgusting.
I was actually pregnant at the time.
Smells.
I was pregnant at the time I came and it smelled like sewage. I mean, there was backup from, I don't even want to know where. And it's dark. I am super pregnant. I do not want to deal with this. And we had to, we had to fix it. Like, we're like, okay, let's deal with it. Got a plumber in there and we had to drain it and clean it up, like disinfect the entire kitchen. It was a whole thing.
So what was running? The dishwasher?
I think the dishwasher was tested, but I know that particular building, it has older pipes. It was a condo, right? It was 3 levels. And
they have a disposal?
Did they have a garbage
Sometimes
disposal?
If those ain't working, that'll happen.
I'm trying to remember like what prompted that, because the unit had been empty for probably about 3-4 weeks at that point.
My guess, if I had to guess,
Yeah.
I would say you guys ran the dishwasher.
Yeah.
And that there was a disposal there that wasn't working.
It just backed up.
And that's why it was all just sealed up.
I mean, it was gross. But yeah, the inspector had found evidence of mold. So we brought in a mold remediation company. They come and they check it out. And they're like, yep, there's mold. So it turned into this whole thing of like, oh, it's not just a leak. It's we have to rip out the cabinets.
That's remediation.
And bring in fans and do all this stuff. Oh, and by the way, the cost of remediation does not include the cost to rebuild the stuff they destroy to get rid of the mold.
Yep.
So again, like, don't slack when it comes to plumbing issues because it's very expensive. The ripple effect of a dripping pipe is massive.
Right.
It's massive. So that was another one. And, I had a client, they bought a house. They ended up, needing to sell the house and they were moving to some really awesome opportunities elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And so this is just kind of like a buyer beware if you're going to get a flip, right? Yeah. There were some foundation issues that, my client wasn't aware of. And I don't think the seller knew either. And they figured it out and they made it right. But it was a slab foundation, and basically it started sinking.
Oh shit!
Yeah, they had brand new, beautiful, wood floors. I mean, this house was gorgeous. And like right after they moved in, I didn't represent them on the buy. I ended up selling it for them when they were
brand
moving.
New?
They were in the house for maybe 2 years, but shortly after they moved in, they started seeing cracks up the walls and doors weren't closing.
No, I'm sorry. Did you say it was a new construction?
No. It was a flip.
Okay.
Yeah, but like they had redone everything. It looked beautiful, beautiful house.
Right.
And the foundation was sinking. So in order to sell it, we actually had to go through their floors because there was no crawl space to go under the house.
Right.
So there was a trench along the entire hallway. This project probably took like 6 weeks, and they had to do 13 steel pylons to prop the house back up because it was caving in.
What city was it in?
This is in Woodland Hills. So
was it like a liquefaction problem over there or something?
I can't remember
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was common for that area. Well, I shouldn't say common, but it wasn't the first time they had seen this in that area. The person who had sold my clients the house when they bought it initially felt awful. Right, you obviously can't go under a house if there's no crawl space, and they figured it out.
See, the confusing part of that is that you say it's a flip, so the house was already there.
Yes,
and then they remodeled it.
They did. They did.
Did they add on more square footage? Mm-mm.
No.
And that just got bad.
It was just
maybe it was just timing.
It was just really bad timing. Wow. And then to top on, like now, then my clients were moving on to another opportunity, so we're trying to figure this out. They're already out. Luckily, they were out of the house, so they're not living in this.
Right.
But man, it was a war zone in there.
So who paid for it?
The flipper put money towards the fix. They made it good. They made it right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you have to take them to court over it, or did you volunteer?
I was not involved in that process because it probably took them about a year or so to figure it all out. And at that time they were planning on staying in the house and moving back in and all of that. And then plans changed, but they still had to fix it to sell it.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, if you guys are interested in flips and things like that, just be extra careful and get an inspector. I know it looks really pretty. Sometimes it's just lipstick on a pig, right? Don't skip the inspection just because it looks nice, right?
Yeah, I want to see, I usually tell people if you're buying a home, don't panic.
Yeah.
But in this case here, I'm going to say it's okay to panic.
It
was okay for them to panic there.
Yeah. But it was a big problem, but you know what? Everything can be dealt with, right? Real estate is really emotional and high stress. And I like to remind my clients that there is no emergencies in real estate. Everything is fixable, but you got to stay calm and you got to be a solutions oriented mindset. As soon as you're like, it's their fault, or I'm going to do this because of the principle of it and the finger pointing and all this. It's not going to solve anything, you guys. You have a conversation and you're like, all right, how are we going to fix it? If that's something you want to fix. If you're like, I don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole, I respect that decision too. Let's cancel and walk away. We'll start over.
Yeah, that's too much.
Everything is fixable. You can change everything or anything just about a house, except where it sits.
Right.
So, and another thing I remind my clients, because again, they get the inspection reports. It's a lengthy document. There's a lot of information in there, and they get really, really overwhelmed. Immediately, they're like, "Oh, it doesn't seem that bad." And you're like, "Oh, it's a lot of stuff I have to do. I don't know if I'm up for it." One, that's probably not going to change with a different house.
Right.
You should be prepared to spend, anywhere from 8 to 10 grand. Well, now it's probably more just because inflation. In your first year of home ownership, because you're slowly over time going to be working on stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So have a little stash put away to work on your house. Also, you don't have to do it all at once.
If you're already living there,
you don't have to do it all at once. A lot of people are like, oh my God, it's
yourself.
A lot of money. I have to do. You can do certain things after you move in. Obviously, you're going to if you want to replace the floors and things like that, you probably want to do that before you move in.
Yeah.
But if you have a crawl space under the house, right? And you need to work on the plumbing, they can do that when you're in there, as long as there's not a massive issue. But if you need to repipe or adjust, they can do that while you're in the house and things like that. So
setting realistic expectations is what I always try to do with people.
Definitely.
And it's most of the time it seems to stick, but some people you just can't help.
Yeah.
They're just panic themselves.
Yeah.
So you can't really do much with that.
Yeah.
So how do people find you if they want to hire you as a realtor?
Yeah. So I have a website. It's laurendemayo.com.
You have a website?
I do. Oh my God. It's laurendemayo.com. So first last name.com. I'm most active.
How do you spell?
DeMayo. DIMEO.
That is so simple.
It's super easy. Everyone mispronounces. They go Dymo. I've had Dymo. I'm like, what? Dymo? No, it's DeMayo.
Call you Dimebag for short.
Yeah, it's easy peasy, you guys. LaurenDeMayo.com. I'm most active on Instagram, so it's at Lauren DeMayo. Again,
yeah, she has great videos on there. Check them out.
Yeah, just try
to
put a little humor in real estate because man, life's too short to be that serious. You gotta make light of the craziness that is real estate. We see a lot of crazy shit.
And what real estate group are you with?
Yeah, I'm with the Alexis McGee Group. We
Okay.
service both Southern and Northern California.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And Facebook too?
Yes. You can just look up Lauren DeMayo Real Estate, and that should bring up my page. I think the address is like Lauren DeMayo Realtor.
Yeah, Lauren DeMayo Realtor.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what it looks like here. And I do have a parting gift for you.
Oh, yeah? What?
You are the first to receive one of these.
Yeah? Hell yeah. Yes, dude, you guys.
That
Limited edition.
you're not going to believe where I got that from.
Where did you get this?
The wife bought me that for Valentine's Day.
This is
She bought me like
amazing.
5. She goes, "Here you go, happy Valentine's." I'm like, "What the?" I'm
This
like,
is hilarious.
she does crack me up. Every once in a while, she really surprises me.
I love this. You need to start giving these to the buyers after you.
It's a cherry scent. Yeah,
Is it really?
I'm gonna
with
order
your
a whole
brochure,
shitload.
with your brochure and definitely this is amazing.
I'm gonna give those out.
Thank you.
It's an air freshener.
I love it. I love it.
My very own air freshener. Woohoo!
That's how you make. You made it. You got personalized air
Yeah.
fresheners.
So once again, everybody buying a home, don't panic. Just call Lauren.
Ask a lot of questions. We
She'll-
like questions. It's fine.
Yeah, ask the questions and make sure you know whatever home inspector you use. Make sure you inquire before the day of, so you don't get your heart broken when he tells you he's not going to check your sprinklers.
Yeah.
I've seen people.
Yeah.
Like I've gone through. At the end of the inspection, I go through. You got a problem with this. You got a problem with that. A problem with that. In one ear, out the other. Oh, did you check the sprinklers?
No.
That's when I want to cyber slap them. It's like
no.
not listening to anything I just
Yeah.
said. And that's all that was on their mind. Why? Because that was on their mind before they showed up. That one thing. Oh, I got to make sure my sprinklers. Well, call a gardener.
Yeah.
That's do it yourself.
Yeah. We are a lot of things, but we are not mind readers.
Right.
So if you have a question or if you are unsure, just ask. It's cool. I would rather you ask and us just be transparent and set expectations than someone being left feeling really disappointed or embarrassed, right? Like sometimes people are embarrassed. They don't want to ask. It's cool. Like people are not expected to know all of this stuff. That's why we're here. We're here to help you and to educate you. So there's no such thing as a stupid question. Just bring it.
Don't bring your dad.
Don't bring your dad.
Don't bring dad to the inspection. No inspector wants to meet your dad. Because we know why he's there.
Yes, to poo-poo on everything.
So, John, is that there up to code?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not here to do code, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway, great having you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Anything else you want to add? Anything you think we forgot?
I mean, John's awesome. If you're buying a house, hire him. Like I get really sad when he's booked.
I'm blushing right now.
Hire him. 100%.
Thank you. Thanks for the shout out.
of
Hey,
course.
there's no better compliment than a realtor hiring you to inspect their own house.
Yes.
That is a big compliment.
Yes.
Any home inspector should realize that if you haven't already.
Yes.
That's a huge compliment if a realtor actually asks you, especially when they refer you. Now, if they're referring you to everybody and they don't hire
don't
you
use
for their
you?
own house, I don't know about that one. She's kind of a little shallow there.
A little sketch.
Little sketchy.
No, I would have been really sad if you were booked. Please come.
Come on. Whenever your clients call me, you're always good about telling them to tell me that you referred them. Very smart, because you always get pushed to the top of the list. Just so you know, you always do. So a lot of times people come to get referred, and they're like, "Oh yeah, my realtor." And then they don't even tell me the realtor's name. I'm like, "Well, who's your realtor?"
Yeah. Again,
even know
we're not
him?
mind readers.
Yeah, we're not mind readers. And I do 30 transactions a month, so it's like, come on, seriously. By the way, the crash, it's not here yet.
No.
Because I'm on schedule to do 30 houses this month.
It's not.
And this is February.
It's not happening.
February 2023.
Yeah.
So guys, that's the reality right now.
Yep.
So everything's good. Thanks once again, Lauren.
Thank you.
You're awesome.
You too.
And I guess I'll see you on the next inspection.
Yeah. Hopefully soon.
All right. Don't panic. Bye.